everybody. I didn't want to be late, so I'm trying to set up a place to go. Good morning. Happy Easter, everyone. I am here at my daughter Callie's house, and they have had an amazing project going on in their backyard. I missed it, but I'm taking today off. So, any of you that know our family, the workload has been real, like real, and so much momentum in our business and company that we started. So I'm going to find myself a little place out here. I'm going to set up my stream. Sorry if you guys are getting sick watching me. I got to show you, they don't have all their mess cleaned up yet, but look at this cute fairy garden Callie and her dad built with Darian over the last couple of days. I know they probably don't want me to show it yet because it's not done. But if you could smell the hyacinth, oh, if you could just stand where I'm standing and smell the tulips and the hyacinth, I almost feel like I'm in Hawaii, but not. So anyway, Callie and her dad took a little minute. They planted this beautiful weeping willow tree, which she's always wanted a weeping willow tree. And they have been so busy. Callie and Darian working for our company with customer service. Chance and Daisy really working. I'm telling you, we have been branding, promoting, marketing, building, selling, having events, going live, doing trainings. It's been a thing. And yesterday was one of the biggest days. Let me get my tripod set up here. One of the biggest days that we have had since we opened. And I just am so grateful and thankful for all of that. So I'm not sure which chair is going to work. I really want to do this egg chair. Is that not the cutest thing ever? But y'all are going to get seasick just watching me. So anyhow, I'll just go right here on the Adirondack chair. How about that? Can you guys all hear me good? Good morning, Marianne. Hi, Latasha. Hi, Carl. Okay, so today it was a debate for me. Should I talk about Easter or should I just take the day off? And I'm telling you, it's tempting because everybody's waiting. They want to go eat breakfast. We're going to go to the mall. We have our ribbon cutting this week for our company. And I don't even have anything ready to pack. Last night at 11 o'clock, I finished a Zoom. People wanting to open in Australia and the UK and around the world. And we're just trying to get things rolling here in the United States, right? But it's such a blessing. I'm so humbled. I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. I just have to pinch myself thinking, how did we get to where we are today? And, the most important thing in my life is my faith. And the strongest reason that I would say that I started a company was my faith. And it all came through such a purpose and such a passion. So, where do I even get started? First of all, happy Easter. What do all of you do on Easter? Tell me in the comments. What do you do? Some of you probably have family. If you have your grandkids, you're so fortunate. I miss my grandkids so bad today. There's nothing like ordering Easter baskets on Amazon because you've been too busy to even pack a box or, call. Yesterday, I watched them on a story that Daisy posted hunting Easter eggs in their backyard. And I was like, dang. Like, remember the days when we were bored? Right now, we're not bored. But you do have to take time where you just stop and you slow down and you really think, what is this all about? Because life is going to happen like this. And I just wanted to share with you guys, if you're not a believer, you can leave the broadcast right now. I'm definitely not trying to put my beliefs on anyone else. And as a business owner, on my business page, obviously, I respect everyone's beliefs. You got your beliefs because of how you were raised. I was raised by a Baptist grandma who took me to church on Sunday night, Wednesday night, Tuesday night was missionary night. Good News Club was right after school. It just was a nonstop thing. Like my grandma was instilling faith in me from the day that I could say, mama. Like it was just the way that I grew up. So I think the way you grow up, you have traditions, right? We all have traditions and beliefs get stacked on beliefs. And so, out of respect for all of you, some of my best friends are Mormons. My best friend and business consultant is Jewish. Some of my top leaders were atheists. And here's the thing that I know: I'm all love. I'm all love every single day. I know what I believe. I respect what all of you believe. I just want to share with you what Easter means to me. And what Easter means to me is forgiveness. What Easter means to me is there was always these three colors that changed outside of our church. There was this big timber that was like this, and it was, shaped in a cross. And there would be a purple, and then there would be a white. And as a little girl, I remember, like, why did they change the color of the scarf on the timber outside? And I can remember as a little girl everything that my grandmother instilled in me. And honestly, you guys, I dreamed of the day that I would have grandkids and we would all live in the same town and I would drag their little butts to church 3 nights a week. They're not in my town. There's not a non denominational church really in my town. That didn't happen. But here's the thing: I can be the light every single day. I can be the light every single day. And before I started Frequence, I almost started an online church. However, I knew, like in any business or anything you do, if I started one, I would literally be crucified because they would all tell me how bad of a heathen I was and I didn't deserve to be starting a church. And let me just tell you my beliefs, and you can take them or leave them. I don't care. You can block me or delete me. All of you high and mighty Christians who think that you're better than thou, you're the reason people don't want to come to the church, right? And so I think the most important lesson that I have learned in my 53 years of life is that Easter is about forgiveness. And really saying that I'm a believer means that I hold no grudges. I forgive all people. I tell them, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you for being you. You have a clean slate. Today's a new day. No judgment against you. Everybody's welcome here. Like, that's the kind of church I wish more people would have, right? So I saved this domain and I own this domain. It's called the Church of Sinners. And I really believed that if I started it online, that the whole world would come to church because they would feel okay. They would feel worthy. They wouldn't feel shame. They wouldn't feel blame. They wouldn't feel embarrassment. They wouldn't feel like, somebody there was going to look down on them. And instead of starting a church, we started a company. But I'll tell you guys, a church is a body of people, it's not a building. And there is a movement that can happen every single day. And you yourself can be the light to so many people. Yes, Melinda, it starts with forgiving ourselves. So, Easter, what does it mean to you? Let me ask you guys, what do you do on Easter? I have these hanging light shadows on my face. So I keep looking like I have a stripe or a bulb on my face. I don't know where to go with this camera. Let me see here. There we go. Maybe that's better. So, here's the question I want to ask to you: what is your tradition on Easter? So growing up, we always went to my grandma's house. My grandma passed away when I was 12. Then we really didn't do anything. Then my mom one day found a non-denominational church. It was in 2005, and Dave and I and all the kids and Dave's mom started going. And the pastor there had been through a divorce. He used to be a Los Angeles disc jockey at a radio station, a rock and roll rebel. And he came to Hayes, Kansas. His name was Pastor Kyle. And I'm telling you guys, he changed so many people's lives. He was authentic. He was real. He told his story of being on the streets, being a bad, a sinner, and getting married and getting divorced and all the things he went through, and then how he found the Lord. And he literally started in a high school gymnasium. And today they have 3 campuses. He's retired today. He lives in Atlanta. But I will tell you, he made such an impact on my kids, and I loved going there. Now, this morning, Darian laughed and he said, there are some people that are just CEOs that go on Christmas and Easter offerings. And I started laughing and I said, that's really most of the world right now. That's really most of the world. Yesterday, I was in a vehicle with a girl I love seeing all the things you guys have done on Easter. I love this. Please put in the comments what your Easter traditions were. But yesterday I was in the back seat with a girl going to lunch, and she goes, "What is Easter? Like, why do we even have Easter?" And I was like, "You got to be kidding me, right?" I mean, I love this girl. Have even hired this girl. I've worked with her back and forth at times. She had no idea what Easter is. She was like, "Please remind me what Easter is." I mean, so for those of you that celebrate Easter and you don't know, let's just say a lot happened in those 3 days. In the story, there was a crucifixion, which was the worst way anyone could ever die. If you haven't ever watched it or learned about it, just go do some studying of history about this man that was crucified, right? I mean, I'm not trying to push you on my beliefs. I'm just telling you it's hard to watch. Whenever I even watch or listen to it, whether it's a passion play or the Passion of Christ, or I read it, it's hard for me to read. It's hard for me to think. It's hard for me to watch. Very abusive death. Very horrible, horrible death. And I want to tell you guys something. There were a lot of people in that circle that this man believed were his ride or dies. He truly believed, these are my people. These are my disciples. They got my back. Like, we break bread together. We love each other. We work together. We trust each other. And pretty much everyone betrayed him. And I think this is just real life. It's in family, it's in business. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And I will just tell you, desperate people do desperate things in times of need. Desperate people give in to temptation. Desperate people give in to greed. Desperate people react out of fear. You know, desperate people do whatever they have to do at the end of the day to take care of themselves. And what we have to realize is this big word called forgiveness means that it doesn't matter how bad they are or what they did, they're forgiven. And the thing that always puzzles me is people that will post, this guy should be stoned, this guy should be hung, this guy should rot in hell, this guy should be locked up for life. And it's funny because the same people that are posting on Easter or Christmas or every day their Bible verses and all their little things, then the next two or three posts down, it's how bad someone is or how much they, and I want to tell you something. We're all guilty of it. But what Easter really means to me is a clean slate, that there was this man that was crucified, that died, that taught us all a lesson, that everything's forgiven. The price is paid, everything is forgiven. Whether there's a murderer, a child abuser, a thief, someone addicted to porn, someone that steals, someone that lies, one thing is not worse than another. It is all sin, all of it. And none of us are perfect. I'm a sinner. You're a sinner. We're all sinners. There's no getting away from it because there's no perfect person walking this earth. Nobody ever has. And that's the part. I don't ever care what other people do. I allow them to be how they are. And by the grace of God, I was a young girl. I'll just say it. I had sex at the age of 12. I had a dad that was very troubled. I mean, he grew up in a home where there were 7 of them. My dad, his only brother, killed himself. His only sister, blood sister, married an addict that was abusive, ended up in prison. Like, I remember Christmases at their house where I would literally go hide under the bed and the ex-boyfriend would come in beating up my dad's sister, taking the kids in a snowstorm, hid them in the attic of a garage down the street, APB out in town looking for the children. Like, my childhood at Grandma Schneider's house, where she had my dad, his brother Jerry, and his sister Tammy. Then she remarried. She had a baby that was my age, almost just a little bit older. So I had an uncle that was my age. Then her husband's wife died. All these kids got sent from Oregon that weren't her kids, but now they were her stepkids. Then the dad died. And not only did she have these stepkids, she raised these kids as if they were her own, and no husband, right? So I had this grandma that was a Catholic, and Grandma Schneider went to confession. and we went on Wednesdays and we went on Saturday night, and she could go to singles club on Tuesday, and she could do whatever and go to confession. And I was like, okay, this is how it works. So like, we're all sinners. We smoke, we drink, we date, we do all the things, and then we go to confession, right? And that was what I was used to at Grandma Schneider's house. And then 3 doors down the block was my mom's grandma. And this was my belief. We don't wear fingernail polish. We wear long skirts. We can't take the Lord's name in vain. We don't do this prayer. We do this other prayer. A lot of people are going to get loud in the front row. They're going to be raising their hands and praising Jesus. But when I go to the Catholic church with my other grandma, who's just 3 doors down, I felt like I was like up, down, on your knees, up, move. Like, we did this thing, and we repeated these things with repetition. And then on Wednesday night, it was hallelujah, Jesus. Like, I was so confused on what to believe, but I loved my grandmas, and they were both right. Let me tell you guys something. They were both right, because they believed what they believed. They believed in the Lord. They believed that there was a crucifixion. They were believing that he was raised on the third day, which is Easter. They were believing that they were forgiven. They were both just serving the Lord with all their heart in the way that they served. And guess what, guys? I don't care how you do it. I don't care who's right. I don't care who's wrong. I don't care what you believe. You just need to be the light. And whatever you believe, you're 100% right in your beliefs, because you believe it. And you learned that because it was a belief stacked on a belief, stacked on a belief, stacked on a belief, stacked on a belief, stacked on a belief. And let me tell you guys, I believed what everyone else told me. I just believed whatever they said to be right. And I had one aunt that was a Jehovah Witness, and she didn't believe that we should have Christmas and Easter. And it was just so confusing as a kid. And then one day I grew up, and Dave and I got to believe like we wanted to believe, and we got to do what we wanted to do. My mom and dad were divorced. My dad always says it was because they weren't in the Catholic Church. They should have been in the Catholic Church, right? My mom's going to church with all of us kids as a single mom. Well, his goal was to fill the whole pew, and we did it here without him. You guys, religion in itself, it's a business. I don't care how you dice it. It's a business. There's a bunch of different churches with a bunch of different beliefs. It is run exactly like a business, and it creates so much division between so many people. And that's what the enemy wants. He wants division. He wants us to not like each other. He wants us to argue. He wants us to think that we're right and they're wrong. And I'm just going to challenge you today. I don't care what anyone believes. I'm going to be a light. Because here's the thing. The minute I judge the other person, we all have an audience of one. And one day we're going to answer to one. And I'm going to stay focused on that one all the days of my life. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to share my story. Some people are going to hate me. Some people are going to love me. Some people are say, I'm not getting in business with her. I'm not getting in business with her because she doesn't believe like I believe. Good. I wouldn't want you to be in a marriage that you didn't want to be in. But I can't not be me, right? I will allow everybody to be how they are. I will love you. I will forgive you. I will thank you. I will be the first to apologize, and I will never hate, because here's what I know. It only hurts me. And I've had to learn that lesson a lot of times, and I'm not a slow learner. Here's what I know. I'm building a strong foundation for me, for the people who I'm in business with, for my grandchildren, for my children, and all the people that call me friend. I wake up every morning and I do the exact same thing. I say, we're all forgiven. Today is a new day. By the grace of God, I woke up today with breath. I am so fortunate to have breath. Now, I will tell you, I'm falling short. I'm working more than I'm worshiping. I am not disciplining myself as much as I should be. And I know that. And I've got to make that change. You've got to put God first in all things if you want him to be in control. And it's so easy to be a yes man and to do this and to do that and to do this and to do that. But here's the thing. Last night at 10:30, when I had 14 messages that said, please call me soon. I need you. Please answer this. Please answer that. I got an event coming up in 3 days. I need to talk to the speakers. I need to make sure all the food's ordered. I need to make sure the DJ's ready. I need to make sure all the gift bags are there. I need to make sure everybody has a room. At the end of the day, I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm trusting the Lord as my co CEO in everything that I do, that He will take care of everything. And here's the thing, people who aren't supposed to be there aren't going to be there. And the people who are supposed to be part of that movement, they're going to be right there with me no matter what, because I'm going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. But Easter to me means we're all human. None of us are perfect. And we should worship the Lord with all of our heart and give him all the glory, because without him, we would have nothing. He owns the air. He owns the sunlight. He owns all the riches in the world. He knows where the next best property investment is for you. He knows where the next best prospect is for your business. He knows who's supposed to be in your business and who's not supposed to be. And when they leave and you're so upset, he knows the conversations that were had when you weren't in the room. Everything that happens to you is for you if you truly believe and you look to him for guidance. And sometimes we get afraid because of the almighty dollar. Sometimes we get afraid because we want to be loved. Sometimes we get afraid because what somebody might say. Sometimes we get afraid because we're taking a risk. But taking a risk, faith without a risk, is a complete contradiction. So don't tell me how afraid you are to get started and then tell me how much you believe in the Lord, because that is an oxymoron. Like, it's not true. I got this little book from my friend, Maxandra De Rosier, and I'm telling you guys, this is the best gift I ever got in my life, because I'm not a Bible scholar. I do mess up. I'm not the best person at praying, but I talk to God all day long every day because I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I'm never going to be that good. I know I'm worthy. I know I'm a child of the Most High God. I know He's using me. I know He's blessing other people. I know I have a story. I know I had such a mess. I turned it into a message. And in 2006, I was going into schools and I started a movement called Invisible Angels. And I would go there to talk to the girl like me that maybe did have sex at age 12, maybe did have a dad that disappeared, maybe did feel like the ugly, freckle faced redhead girl that needed to do anything for attention. I needed to be loved so bad, you guys. So bad. I just wanted to be loved. Anybody ever just want to be loved? And it's the worst feeling in the world when you don't feel loved and accepted. But let me tell you, you are. All of you are. And here's the other thing, you're forgiven. I don't care how bad what you did was. You know, I have a family member that I love so much, and she does not feel worthy, and she does not feel loved, and she feels blame and shame and embarrassment, and she feels guilt. She feels regret. She is so low on emotion that the only thing that can truly set her free is to know all of it is washed away. We have an audience of one. Nobody else's opinion matters. Not a Facebook matters. Not an article written about you matters. Doesn't matter what the news says. Doesn't matter what your haters say. It doesn't matter what they post or publish or go live or what they say about you. Doesn't matter, because this is a no judgment zone. It's you and him, and we all have an audience of one. And for me to tell you that, and then me to go type a text or be in a conversation or say something or post something, like, it's never coming from me, because I've learned the hard way. There are things that God will bless, and there are things that God will not bless, no matter how hard you work. And God will not bless anything that is built on a weak foundation. So you can try it without him, or you can try it with him. I've tried it several times. I got really tired of watching the entire empire come crumbling down. I've seen healing. I've seen sickness. I've seen miracles. I've seen curses. And I know that I know that I know that I know that God is real. And I'm seeing it right now. So any of you who have read my book, No Guts, No Story, I need to edit out the whole part of building our business, because I thought I was writing a personal development book and it ended up in Christian self-help. I don't know how. I didn't think I would ever end up in the Christian self-help at Amazon or at any of the bookstores. I remember going right here in Kansas City I remember Dave and I going to the bookstore. I was like, my book's on the bookstore rack. There was Barack Obama. No, there was Sarah Palin and yeah, and Barack Obama. And then there was my book right in the middle. It's on my author page. Like I took that picture. I was like, how in the world did I end up here? Only by the grace of God, I'm sure. But I will tell you, I wanted to be a motivator. I wanted to be a Tony Robbins, a Zig Ziglar. And all I did was take all of my journals from my childhood until 2001, and I just published them raw and authentic. And I think I only have 40 books left in stock. I've never been this low on books in my life. I need a new book. That book ended in 2001, and the business principles in it are dinosaur. Like nobody's doing what I did up to 2001 ever again in their life. Nobody would work that hard, drive those miles, wear out 2 cars, leave their kids, max out credit cards, get on airplanes. Nobody would do that. It's easier today. It's easier today. But then and today, I was doing the same thing in my rhythm of life. I was serving, I was sharing, I was helping people, I was taking a mess and turning it into a message. And 1996 to 2001, the message was I was broke, I was broken. Financial freedom was it. Man, all I could talk about was money. And then in 2001, after losing Dave's brother to suicide, all I could talk about was time. It was like my whole message changed. Like, you're never going to get back the time. So, time management was everything, and time freedom was everything, and spending time with the people you love. And I switched from like in my 20s, it was all about the material things, to like in my 30s and early 40s, it was all about time with people you love. And man, did we have time. We took Dave's mom on every vacation. We were at every sporting event. We volunteered for everything our kids ever did. It was such a blessing. And the Lord just kept blessing us and blessing us. And I just kept giving him all the glory and giving him all the glory. But you know what he allowed? He allowed empires to come crumbling down. And I think my message then was like, humble yourself, or God will do it for you. So now every day I'm like, I'm not that good. I'm worthy. I'm loved. I'm forgiven, but I'm not that good. And I never take it for granted. I have gifts, but I'm not perfect. I suck at a lot of things. Here's what I suck at: technology. I suck at going live on the right page. I suck at driving down the road trying to make a voice text and it all gets spelled wrong. I make mistakes when I post. I misspell everything. Sometimes it's on the wrong page. Sometimes I text the wrong Dave. And sometimes I put the wrong people in a corporate text. Like I make a lot of mistakes. Details are not my strength. But guess what? I can move people because I am so real and authentic. And I love the Lord so much. And I love people so much. And I know that my time here is limited. And when I think about Easter, I think at the end of my life, how could I be more of a servant? Like, how could I have ultimately, I don't care about a house on the lake or my awesome boat that I haven't had time to take on the lake like twice in 4 years. Like, forget about it. I need to sell the ski boat. It's not my joy. I got all these houses on the lake. No family has time to come there. That's not my joy, right? I got all this stuff. And at the end of the day, when Dave's mom passed away 18 months ago, and we moved all her stuff, not once, but 3 times. We moved it to an Airbnb that was beautiful. It was cash flowing like crazy. It was called the Cardinal House. Then we sacrificed the house for a mushroom drink. And we started a mushroom drink, and we got all these people trying this drink because we needed to help someone that we loved with mental health. And then we were like, God, we don't need this house. Let's create this product. And then this product started changing all these people's lives. And then all these people started coming, and we were like, holy cow, we need to invest more. So we sacrificed more and more and more. And then there came this massive storm, right? This storm of like so much at once. And once again, I had to look back and be like, what is the most important thing? Like, if God's really going to use me as a vessel, what's the most important thing? No judgment, authenticity, share your story. If God allowed it to happen to you, it's for a reason, and serve Him. At the end of this life, you're going to have 4 questions. What'd you do with your time? What did you do with your talents? Where did you put your treasure? And what did you do about my son? And if you don't believe in the 4th one, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to believe. But I want to make sure I can answer those questions. So I got this little book. It's not easy to change a made up mind, right? A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So I'm never going to convince my Catholic grandma to believe like my Baptist grandma. And I'm never going to ever convince the family member that's a Jehovah Witness to go join the Mormon church. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to love the Lord. I'm going to love all my friends. I'm going to accept everybody right where they're at, whether they're Jewish or Muslim or Christian or atheist or however they are. And I'm going to be a light, because people are going to look at me and they're going to say, gosh, I wish I had what she had. And then I'm going to say, let me tell you how to get it. And so I read a lot. And this Command the Morning is something that's really changed my life. With my oldest daughter's struggle over the last couple of years, and the overdose and all the treatment centers and all the mental health struggle and all of that. I mean, as a mom, guys, when you go through what I've gone through, then and only then you'll know. I'll invite every addict right into my house. I'll stop and give every homeless person anything I can, because it's a disease and they don't want it any worse than you don't want them to have cancer. But a lot of people judge, and a lot of people blame, and a lot of people react to these people like, you need to get a job like the rest of us, or there's no free handouts. Like, they're broken. They're so broken. And if not you, who do you expect to tell them that there's a better way? Yesterday, this girl in the backseat, I'm like, girl, I'm going to order you this book. Like, she's unemployed. She's crying. She's answering the phone to job interviews saying, you didn't get the job. I want to hire her. I'm like, what can I do for you? But give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for the rest of his life. I said, I'm going to get you this book. And right in the book, I looked it up. There was this prayer called A Prayer for the Unemployed. It literally said, here's the book: Open Heaven's prayers for gainful employment, Open Heaven's prayers for fertility and pregnancy, Open Heaven's prayers for residency. Like, if there's a book that could just teach you how to pray, give me that book. Prayer for Dummies, right? So this is the one, Psalm 91, that I have prayed every day since my kids were going to college, since I lost a business that was $1.2 million a year, since I started over, not just once, but 3 times, since I was searching, do I start a church or do I start a company, or could I do both? Now I got a church within a company. It's just a whole bunch of people that love and share and witness to each other. And it is just like the most amazing, it is the most amazing feeling, this movement. And it was just all him. None of it was me. None of the people there were people that I knew. Maybe like 10%. It's my 10% core friends that locked arms with me last June, about 12 of them. And then there was like 300 on Black Friday that came together with our family, and we went live and said, we have this idea. We want to help people with mental health. You can be a beta tester, jump in for free. And you guys, yesterday was the second biggest day I've ever had in my entire career. And we don't even have a full website. It's all God. It's a movement. It's forgiveness. It's acceptance. It's no judgment. It's all love. It's a movement. And guess what? People who take that casual are going to experience a lot of casualties. I'm not casual about any of this. It is so important to me every day to do this every day. So one of the prayers that I've prayed, if you don't know what Easter is, let me just tell you, it's the story of Jesus, where he was crucified on a cross. On the third day, he rose again, and everyone's sins were washed away. And so, you know what? For people that don't believe that, I understand and I accept that. I just don't know how I would get through life. I honestly don't know how I would get through life if I didn't believe that I was forgiven, my children are forgiven. I've done a lot of bad things in my childhood. I got caught shoplifting once. I did a lot of things before I was married I probably shouldn't have done. I was pregnant before I was married. I went through a bankruptcy. I have told lies. I have gossiped. I have done things that weren't the right thing to do. And I learned my lesson and I said, forgive me. And it was over. And I moved on and I knew it was a new day, right? So Psalm 91 says, this, I pray this over my family and my coworkers every single day. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and I abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he's my refuge, my fortress, my God, and in him I will trust. Surely he will deliver me from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover me with his feathers, and under his wings shall I trust. His truth shall be my shield and my buckler. I shall not be afraid for the terror by the night, or the flight by the day, or the pestilence that walketh in the darkness, or the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall by my side, and 10,000 at my right hand, but it shall not come nigh me. Only with my eyes shall I behold, see the reward of the wicked, because I have made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, my habitation. There shall be no evil befall me, neither shall the plague come near my dwelling, nor for he shall give his angels charge over me, and keep me in all my ways. They shall bear up in their hands, lest I dash my foot against a stone. I shall tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon. I shall trample under my feet. Trample under feet, not my feet. Because I have set my love upon him, and therefore he will deliver me. He will set me on high because I know his name. I can call upon God and he will answer me. He will be with me in all my trouble. He will deliver me. He will honor me. And with long life, he will satisfy me and shew me his salvation. Amen. And I'm telling you guys, when I look in here and there's one that says, order my steps today. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Direct my steps, your word, and let no iniquity have dominion over me. No matter how great you are, you need to ask for the direction and the guidance of an Almighty so that you don't fall into error. No one follows God's direction and fails to fulfill destiny because God values his word above his own name. God wouldn't put a dream in your heart if he didn't believe that you could have it. Nothing can stop a movement that God built. And I'm going to say that again. Nothing will ever stop a movement that God built. You guys, I have prayed so much over the last 2 years, 20 years, 30 years, 53 years. It all makes so much sense to me right now. I know that I'm forgiven, I'm loved, I'm going to be blessed. I'm from a championship bloodline. It doesn't matter what my childhood was like. I know that he's directing my steps and it's going to be all good for those that believe in him. And I want you to believe that about whatever journey you're in. You don't have to be in my company. I hope you kill it in your company. My company is the best company for me, but it's not the best company for everyone because they all have their own story. They all have their own destiny. They all have their own dreams. Some people want to travel. Some people want to be a beauty artist. Some people want to sell clothes. Some people want to sell food. Some people want to sell soap. Some people want to sell jewelry. I want to change the world with the message that you can feel good right now. You can be forgiven. You are in a non-judgment zone. You can feel good. You can do good. You can be good. You can be a light to so many other people. And I know that with that comes a great responsibility. Easter to me is about a restart. It's about a clean slate. Tabula rasa. Nobody's judging you. And I would encourage all of you to reach out to someone today and know that no matter what they did, they're forgiven. And for you to hold a grudge is the same sin of what they did to you. We are told to treat our neighbor how we would want to be treated. It doesn't matter what they did to you. You don't forgive them because you want them to be, oh, I was right. You forgive them for you. I want you to imagine your dreams and goals are over here and your enemy is right here and you're right here. And the only way you can get to your destiny, you know what's in between your future destiny and you right now? If Jesus was in between you and your enemy, and the only way that you could get to where, or if this was Jesus and this was you, and the only way you could get to his destiny for you was to be able to forgive the very thing that you're holding on to, would you keep holding on to the shackles? Would you keep carrying all the baggage? Or would you just want to have a clean slate? Text them. Text them right now. These 4 words. I forgive you. I hope you forgive me. I'm sorry. It's all love over here. And I want to tell you guys, when I did that with my dad in 2006, a mentor told me, I love you, Barb. I want to be in business with you. I love your product. I love your ideas. I love your marketing. What worries me about you is your heart. And I was like, what? And this guy was an attorney. I'll never forget it. His name was Chris Kimmenall, one of the biggest builders I ever worked with. He taught me about forgiveness. He said, I'm going to give you a challenge, Barb. You forgive your dad and you let go of everything that happened in your childhood and you quit talking about it. And the day that you do that, you show me, you write a letter, you make the call, you show me, I'll lock arms with you. Until then, I would be afraid because nothing you build will ever be strong until you learn forgiveness. You can't build an empire on a weak foundation. And a weak foundation is someone that's got a hard heart, full of hate, full of anger, full of resentment, full of judgment, full of blame, full of regret, full of all the blah. You got to be all love, guys. God is love. God is love. End of story. And if you don't have love, you're struggling. You can't love anyone else if you don't love yourself. That's why you got to have forgiveness. And you can't be truly the light that he would use you to serve. He's not going to bless something that doesn't have the right energy. Like if you really want the blessings and you're praying like, God, bless my business, bless my health, heal me, then you got to release. You got to bless and release. You got to forgive. And to me, growing up as a little girl, my grandma Mills, greatest mentor I ever had. I want to be more like her. I want to drag my little grandkids to church. I want to be the light. I want to be all love. I want to forgive. And I just want to help you guys learn the lesson sooner than later. You can get off the struggle bus. You don't have to keep feeling all these things that you're feeling, but you got to bless and release. So I hope you guys have an amazing Easter weekend. Dave and I are going to be on the road today driving home. I want to be with my mom tomorrow on Easter. I know how bad Dave misses his mom. My oldest daughter said, should I make Nana Cindy's Easter dishes? Should we make deviled eggs? Who's going to make the chocolate cake? I mean, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And those grandmas are everything. That family, it's everything. Don't let a grudge keep you from being around the people that love you. Don't let anything be between you and the people that you love. Let it go. Forgive. Don't blame. Don't shame. It's a non-judgment zone. And if you remember those little bracelets that said WWJD, what would Jesus do? That's a hard thing. None of us are ever going to be as perfect as him. But if we could just try to be more like him, that would be a good step in the right direction. And today I was like, well, I'm the CEO of a company, so I'm probably going to take some tomatoes. If I go talk about my beliefs, I'm going to hurt someone's feelings. Some people are probably going to quit. Some people are going to be like, I don't know if we should go there because she's a holy roller. You guys, I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not a holy roller. Here's what I am. I have a really strong belief. And I know what the Lord has done for me. If you haven't read my book and you read the first chapter when I was dying, giving birth to my firstborn, you'll know where my faith came from. It was a belief stacked on a belief, stacked on a belief. And when you see a miracle, you can't unsee it. Like, you know, God is real, right? Right now, I'm seeing so many miracles, no one will ever convince me that it's not real. And so if you want that kind of belief and you want to see those miracles and you wish you had that kind of faith, I'll send you a book. Reach out to me. I would love to help all of you. You know, I just want to give him all the glory and all the praise. And I hope that today you're with people that you love. I hope that you're celebrating this holiday for what it's worth. And I hope you never forget that everything is wiped away. And no matter what you did, you are absolutely forgiven. And the people who have done wrong to you, they deserve that too. So go send the text, write the letter, make the phone call. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing day. Happy Easter.